Greetings,
Greetings.
Mama Naasira
Yes.
Ageela.
Yes.
Um, nice to meet you. I know been doing a lot of work in the community
Hmm.
you from San Francisco, but
Yes.
can you please introduce yourself to the family to meet that beautiful sister,
Oh,
Mama Naasira? The
oh,
floor is yours.
thank you. Yes. Yes, my name is Mama Naasira Ageela. Also, my original name is Deborah Tripp. I was just speaking to the brother about maybe changing my name again, but I don't think it's important. But yes, I am from San Francisco, California. I'm 72. I was born in an environment that was bombed by the time I was 13, excuse me. And in that time, we've gone through many changes.
Mm.
Yes, I have gone to college at the age of 17. I was interested in the medical field, so I had nursing background as well as a medical lab technician, and
Mm-hmm.
also I studied was it medical assistant in a community college and clinical science.
Okay.
So I worked at the age of 18 at the University of San Francisco, and they trained me as a phlebotomist, and I became pretty proficient and excellent because I cared about the job and helping people. I'm actually the oldest of six children. I was raised by my mother and my father, and there was six of us children. My mother's background is from Arkansas, and my father's from Mississippi.
Mm.
Yeah, so and it's interesting how at times in life we can meet someone that actually have some similarities. So they did have some similarities, kind of older thinking, mature people. My mother was an Aries and my father was a Cancer, just like Dr. Joe. Yeah. So in that growing up in the Fillmore area, San Francisco, my father was a carpenter in Alaska, and he would travel every year and work as a carpenter, and then come back after the snow starts. So he would leave around the springtime, around May, June, April, sometime. And so yeah, we had opportunities to have a little bit of outside background other than the U.S., which in 1959, Alaska became the state of the Union, which is the
Mm.
49th state. However, it was interesting when he came home, he had his hard hat and he said, "We are now Alaska, the 49th state in the U.S." And my mother had a new baby for him. So that
Ah.
was interesting. So yeah, I have to talk to her about that, how she was born at that time that we remember. And also, my mother was what they call in those days a housewife. She did work, and that was really a blessing because she was always there. When we didn't want her there, we couldn't do anything about it. So
Mm.
it gave us pretty good structure, I can say. They didn't. They definitely believed in the whipping thing, so it may have helped. When I fast forward, had three children, and I remember when the school system changed in the '80s, where they wanted to interfere with how parents, discipline their children. And so one investigator came to my class because they had someone to come in and talk about abuse of children or molestation, and our children didn't really know all of that. So my son told them that I spank him, and so they came to my house and they asked me about it, and I said, well, to be honest, I think spankings are good because today I'm not on crack cocaine because I got enough spankings to know to do the right thing. And so they accepted that because a lot of parents probably were really challenged, with how they were doing at that time. So I'm really happy that that's over. Also, I have three children. I married when I was 23, 24, and had started a family. And I was actually, before starting a family, I had at least 7 to 8 years of time to myself, education, work, meeting lots of people, partying, having a great time. So when I
Mm.
started my family, I was ready to, after the second child, to resign. And living in San Francisco in the 80s, with Reagan in the White House at that time, coming in, it was a different climate change in terms of opportunities that we had in the 70s started to dwindle away. Qualifications became a little different. So I just decided to resign out of the system after 8 years
Yeah.
and be home with my two children. And financially, it was kind of challenging at times. And the children's father, he was a person that I think the military has a lot to do with their minds,
Yes.
the alcohol and just a lot of bitterness. And so I took that and just changed it into something positive just to give my children an opportunity to have a better life than both of us. And so far, that's what we did. We were grateful. Well, he made his transition, but so Dr. Joe is the father for my children as best that he can. No one's perfect,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it takes years to become friends sometimes.
Yes.
But especially
Yes.
for men, I had all three sons as well. Yeah. So on fast forward, what else did I do? I traveled to Alaska in 1991. I saw where back in the 80s, a lot of the immigrants that we're now talking about today. I
Mm.
noticed it in 1981, 82. I moved from San Francisco to Marin County across the Golden Gate Bridge. That's where the children's father was from. And I was interested in really getting out of San Francisco because it was not, it wasn't the family culture anymore.
Oh,
So I
okay.
thought raising my children, I needed to find a better place. And so that's what I did. Because Marin County is a pretty well off area, even though the housing was low cost, you still had a nice home. You can grow your food and you have the nice outside yard, and the house was good inside. So yeah, it was a good start for the children, furnished. And then from there, I moved to San Rafael, and that's when I saw a lot of the Hispanics were in the area. And I can't say if they're the same today as they were back then. I think
Mm.
it was probably something more new where they were coming in larger amounts with families. And America allowed this. And I saw my children in the public school system being a little bit, ignored because they were trying to spend more time helping the foreigners. And that's
Yes.
when I decided, when my brother visited from Alaska, because he's been there since 90, let me see, 70, 1977, he moved there. My mother sent him there with our father so that he wouldn't get into like I said, San Francisco was changing.
What's
So black
yeah,
people
yeah.
really, black Americans really had to make sometimes strategic changes,
Mm.
to be able to to live 72 years coming the 4th of January. I am grateful that wasn't an easy way of life, for a lot of us. But you had to keep it moving. You couldn't fall behind no
At
matter
all.
what.
Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, so that was the time. That was more or less the 80s going into the 90s, and that's when I moved to Alaska in 91. And that was a really wonderful opportunity, especially when all of your children said, "This is the place," we
yeah,
like
yeah.
it here. So even the father who had challenges, it was amazing how it really helped him through, the traumas. All of us are traumatized in some
All of us are
way or another.
traumatized.
Yes. So he was able to deal with that, although he went backwards. And I kind of think it was because I was moving forward. And that's when my
Mm.
oldest son, a Pisces like yourself, he said,
Okay.
Mom, I feel sorry for you. I said, what? He said, every time you move forward, Dad move you backwards. So what are you going to do? I said, well, you ready for us to divorce? He said, yes, because they didn't ever want me to do that. And so I worked it out for them. And when they said that was it seemed like it was time. And I'm grateful that I did go to Canada with my children for a while. I was trying to get them in the school system, but they wouldn't allow me. You
Okay.
know, yeah, I didn't have my passport at the time. I just had birth certificates. And I was probably thinking bigger than where I was at the time, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I did go back to college and I finished my degree in
It's
in
okay.
I finished my AA degree in the college that I attended in 1971, and I graduated with an AA in library technology. And that was mainly because I was interested in working in the schools while my children were growing up and would get
Yes.
jobs. So they would
Yes.
have me work in different areas, different departments. And I learned the library and I loved it. And I started applying for library positions and I would get them. And then
Mm.
eventually, when it was time for me to return after my children, I'd gone to college with my children. So,
Okay.
yeah, I had the experience one day getting off the train, going to school, and my son was leaving school to go to work. And I said to myself, I said, wow, this is the type of children I wanted. I didn't want any
Mm.
problems. So I did all that I could do so that they could grow. Now, my middle son is a little different. He turned 22 this December the 22nd, and he's Capricorn, like myself and their father. I think he really had it tough. So he started picking up the alcohol, but he would work, 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 and then eventually, it affected his health. And so, gratefully enough, he read our books and he translated them into French, and he stopped drinking. And he's a 100% pretty much plant based. And now he has the first tea bar in Alaska. He had gone to
Mm.
Florida. Yeah, he went back to Alaska after living there for the first time we lived 5 years, and then he stayed another 15 years. And then he left in the 20th year and traveled to Florida, and he stayed there for three
Okay.
years. And he said the life there was pretty challenging. The opportunities just wasn't available for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, a lot of immigrants were there too. But anyway, he came back to Alaska and talked to my brother, who's been there for years, and told him about the T bar. And so my brother supported him financially, and he did a great job. He's doing a great job. He opened
That's
it.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, and then my third son, he's an Aries. He's into he was singing. He had gotten a contract with Japan when he was 21, and he did really well. Got 3 albums, and they paid him decent money. But then when he tried to go to Los Angeles or Hollywood, well, he wasn't quite accepted there. So
Okay.
yeah, so now what he does, he and his wife, he's married to the girl that he met in Marin County when we moved back there. Well, he moved back with his father. So they've been together since high school, and I think it's about 23, 24 years they've been together, and they eventually married. And so they're doing, what do you call it, the fast food program. They're doing a eating food. Um, Let me see, I can't think of it, but anyway, they go to a lot of the fast foods. They taste the food. They talk about it, and so they've been making pretty good, money with that. And I guess he's took that on because he can do whatever he wants without anybody, disturbing him when he does something. You know how Aries can be when it comes to
Yeah.
their finances and their independence. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then last year, and well, 2020 when we were here, we came here. First, we retired 2013,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, as a library tech, I worked at the college that I started again, and so yeah, they
Mm.
hired me after I was working for Oakland Public Library, and I was going back and forth crossing the bridge, and they offered me a position after I graduated. So I applied for it, and they hired me. So I worked in the media um, library where I closed from. Let's see, at that time I would come in around 5 o'clock and close by 10, and then I would work sometime a little earlier in archives, media, um, circulation, yeah, periodicals. So I was pretty much like a float person, and I always
Okay.
thought I was thinking they wanted me to do that because I'm very open, and
Yeah.
I would walk away from my desk and walk up to a certain department and just start talking to people, and then leave
Mm.
one area and talk, and then somehow maybe 5 or 6 years later it's somewhat changed. I think because of the climate, when you're in a place for a long period of time, it's not quite the same, and you have to. So I didn't have time to socialize like that anymore. But yeah, it was a great opportunity to work at the college in San Francisco. But yeah, also when we retired, we were catering to some people because in our Spicy Tasty Vegan book, we have 70 testimonies of people we catered, and they talked about how this was back in more or less 2000 when we noticed people were starting to change. If they knew somebody that could help them, as I did, I used to prepare big pots of stew, and I would put all the different beans and greens and whatever's in season at the farmer's market, carrots, potatoes, all the different spices, and just fill it all the way up with all that. And sometimes I would add a little quinoa to it. I haven't done it in a long time, but to feed a lot of people, I did that. And people did detox a lot. If they stayed on the lifestyle for 6 months to a year, they saw changes. It's an expensive way of life because I like food that tastes really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like food with texture, and I'm not the type of person that eat between meals. I eat.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I Yeah, I stopped doing that when I got sick. I got sick with hepatitis when I was
Hepatitis.
19.
Okay.
Hepatitis
Mm.
B. hmm
Mm.
After I left home, and it's part of me. I'm going around in circles because I have a lot of experience, but I'll tie it up. So what happened to me when I was working at the lab at UC Medical Center
Mm-hmm.
as a phlebotomist. I was
Sorry.
in the.
Can you explain to the audience what is a phlebotomist, please?
Oh yes, that is interesting. Phlebotomist. It
Yes.
means a blood drawer. It's a person that walks around at 6 o'clock in the morning when you're in the hospital, and they have your requisition and they ask to draw blood from you. So that's what I did. I drew blood for a year on the different wards, and after my supervisor he viewed what I was doing and how I handled my techniques. He decided to promote me to pediatrics,
Mm-hmm.
drawing blood from the children,
The
as
babies.
well
Yes.
as in the nursery. And so I learned to use these little small capillary tubes,
Mm-hmm.
to collect the blood because we had to poke the child, babies in the heel to get blood. And that's a very unfortunate thing as I think about. But anyway, I was drawing a patient's blood and the lady jumped, and I was 19, and I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." And so I somewhat took her word that she knew what she was talking about. But what happened when I gone in to get the blood and I pulled the blood with the syringe, And then when I got ready to take it out, how you take the gauze or the cotton and put it over the stick, well, she jumped and the needle stuck me. And so I had, yeah, that was a really
Wow, that sounds
very,
very, very
very, it's
dangerous.
bad experience. And
Bad
so
experience. Yeah.
after 3 years, I mean, after 3 days, I was itching all over, and I couldn't remember the blood test when I had gone to the doctor to let them
Okay.
know I'm itching. And so after they took the blood from me and the urinalysis, and when I called them and I remembered because my eyes had turned yellow,
Okay,
and
so she had so she had hepatitis B and you got it because of the injection that stung you, that went into your skin.
well, over the years, I have learned that when I started to get better because my liver was damaged. In other words, I think hepatitis is one of the terriblest illness. That means I was eating out, fast foods. McDonald's at that time in 1971, they had built one just across the street from the college. So this was
Hmm.
all set up to. It's like an experimental thing.
Yes.
It can
Yeah.
come from the food. Maybe God was trying to let me know that I needed to, start cooking and get my
Yes.
life together.
Yes. Yes.
So I had gone to the bottom. that's
Yes.
what that's what basically it's from. So the doctor told me you need, because I had to go take blood tests every week, 2 weeks, a month, and all this for about 6 months just to check me. Maybe they were taking my blood away. These, you never know.
You never know. You never know. 100%. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So he told me, he said at one of the last visits, he said, you need to eat. This was in 1973. And he said,
Mm.
you need to eat is the way your mother raised you. And then I know that my mother didn't work. So she specialized in cooking and shopped in good stores because we had decent, income. So he said, you need to get back to that. So that's what I did. I mean, I actually, I was so challenged where I couldn't eat anything but some toast and peanut butter just to coat my stomach. That means it was totally acidic, you know,
Okay.
and
So
I'm a type. Mhm.
so let me ask you. So you're saying that. So I wanted to know what drew you at what point did the change, yeah, the transition from the fast foods and the eating nothing came? At what point did that came? It was after you was diagnosed with hepatitis um 2, or at what point did that transition started?
Well, that happened around March of 73. And so by the time what I did, I kind of got married. My mother and father set me up with this man to marry, very nice person, to get my life right. The stability, because I knew how to cook because my mother taught me how to cook, and my grand aunts were in my life. In fact, rented one of the house apartments in the building, so I learned how to bake cakes. Not just any type of cake, cakes with 3 sticks of butter and eggs. How they separate it and so on.
Mm,
So we had the best. We had pineapple cake with blackberry jam inside of it, cooked like just like a pound cake. I mean,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
just yeah. So I came up doing that, and then I took in high school or junior high school home economics, and I created all of my recipes and made a little book for myself. And on Saturdays, my mom would allow me to make the dinner for the evening. So had to experience it with making sauces for hamburgers. We did pizzas. Let's see, what is it? Little pastas and things like that. And so that gave me like a foundation. So when I
Okay.
yeah, so when I did live like in that marital lifestyle, actually I cooked every Sunday, and I would have food that I could eat off for the week. And that stopped
Mm-hmm.
me from going to the restaurants and eating. And when I try it, if the oil I learned now was bad, my stomach would ache immediately. So that kept
Okay.
me far away from fast foods, having stomach pains. And I didn't have it when I prepared my own food. So I really, as my money grew, I pay more and more money for my food, and I do that today. Um, Here in the Gambia, we spend at least maybe anywhere from 300 to 400 a week of our retirement to feed this students and others that want to come and try some of the food. A
Okay.
lot, yeah. So
So so what time did you decide to become a vegan? Or you say you've been a vegan for 20 years. What what made
yeah,
what encouraged you to make that change and start practicing veganism? And furthermore, what does veganism means for the person that do not know? Can you explain to them the different types of a way of eating, like pescatarian, veganism, I'm vegetarian. So if you have to make a choice to understand the difference, the different eating lifestyles.
right. Number one, what changed me from eating, I was more or less a gourmet cook while raising my children. Like if I had lasagnas, it'd have ground beef, but I would start it, with the greens in there, spinach or turnip greens. And, I was that type of person that used a lot of vegetables and very small meat. That's what
Hmm.
changed after, the hepatitis. And then as I would go on, I saw that eating cakes and things, I had to be moderate about that. And all the cakes are not the way they were when I was a child.
That's true.
Yeah, and then this was I'll say in my 30s.
Hmm.
I was really cooking. I mean, even there was a few times that I was homeless, and we would go into these shelters, myself and the father and the children. And I mean, it was an interesting experience, and it was more or less where there was more whites and maybe some Hispanics, other nationalities living there. And here me as a black American coming in, and I had control of the kitchen, right? So I had a demand on the kitchen. So all they could do is look at me, and when they said, okay, you had to be in the kitchen for meals in the dining area for meals around 7 a.m. We were there at 6:30. So when these folks come in and see us, so it was just an
Popping.
interesting experience that I actually in these shelters. It seemed like God put me in those situations because people learn from me, and my children was going to eat. I would take the time, whatever they had, I would make pancakes and end up serving it to the others. So I was still always, in that cooking mode because I got sick. It seemed like if I didn't eat, my food, I would feel ill at times. And I'm still that way because there are times, we have to sometimes have less. And I could feel something that I have to coat my stomach and my whole body with these nutrients. And I learned because I'm a type A. I'm type A positive, and it's supposed to really mean that you're more plant based, which means all of us should be plant based, melanated people. So they played these blood type games on us too. I was discussing it with my sister a few days ago. She told me she was an O. I said, well, O generally means that you can pretty much eat various types of foods,
Hmm.
more than, there's some acid there in the body that can handle it. Whereas with A, not as much. So I was thinking that, we, melanated people, we didn't have to eat flesh. They were our family. It's in our Spicy Tasty Vegan book. My husband and I have written three of them. And yeah, it talks about 500 years ago, not just the Africans, but we weren't really eating meat either. And in America, we have more plants and food than they have over there. And believe me, I know we use them because our bodies are strong because of it. Even though we go through things, but most of the time, if you can get back on track, you can recover. So I had these experiences, with eating and how the food started to, give me more acidic gas and things like that. By the time I was 42, and I was with a Gambian friend in Canada, And I told them, because I had inherited some money from my family and buying all this rich food that was not healthy. And I told him one day, I said, one day I'm going to become a vegan. So he said, do you want to die? So I said, no, I don't want to die. I was looking at that like, what? I mean, whatever I put out, I may be, not totally intelligent, but I'm not going to die. So anyway, I eventually got to a point where I remarried a Muslim, husband at the time for 5 years. I had an opportunity to cook, really cook for him because he was diabetic. So it kind of worked hand in hand. He didn't have any clue to food being really your medicine, and you don't really have to take the medication. You just need to be consistent. If you work on something and you get it to a point where you're comfortable, you have to live that way for the rest of your life. You
100%.
know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if you go off of it, it can be double challenge getting back. And so I always, at times tell people it's the consistency is what has helped me. And so with
In
the
every
consistency, hmm
in everything, the consistency is is
yeah,
key. I guess you learn how
hmm
to cook the Harry Cotta soup, Harry Cotta bean soup.
yes, yeah, you have to, yeah, it's just, and that's what has gotten me where I am. As a vegan, we don't use that processed soy, and that's what kind of got a lot of people probably in probably health challenges because you're not eating enough of a variety. Where if you're going to use the soy, it's better to get it fermented, like the tempeh and the brag, netto, things like that. They're a little expensive, but just to have a little bit of it with a lot of the vegetables, that would give you all the nutrients required, and it's more alkaline. So I bought a wok. That's what also helped me with changing my lifestyle. I had gotten to the point that I just things would come to me that I need to add to my kitchen. So the wok was around in 1978, and I bought one, and I had the recipes, so I read them because I had a lot of my grand aunt's recipe books, so I
Hmm.
used them when I lived alone, and so to have a new wok with some new recipes that was requiring more vegetables and less meat, so I kind
Yes.
of gravitated to cutting all, like I would take a big roast my mom would have in the freezer, I would cut it all up into little small. Yeah, because they would go on vacation, and I have my children, because I cook this way mainly for them, and so I would take that roast and cut it up and put it in pieces, parts, and freeze it, and then just stir fry it. I cut it down to small pieces, and you have your rice and a salad, and even that was good enough. And then
Hmm.
having beans. Yeah, it really that's what taught me that hepatitis is got me on track. It wasn't a
Hmm.
thing of growing up and saying, "Oh, now that I'm adult, I don't have to eat this certain way." Oh no, you when you leave home, you need to have something remind yourself of how you really grew up and do what works for you. I mean, but another thing too I've learned, we as melanated people, we are living kind of in a bubble where we have to go through certain things together, and once we get through it, then we'll have the roadmaps to help our children. Because my mother and father, they can not help me to where I am now. They could see it and envision it, but their minds were erased of some things. So I'm just grateful that we now can start educating our own children without sending them to somebody else's camps or
Yeah.
schools. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and then I guess we decided to we connected with Dr. Layla Africa at an event where we catered food, and he was there, and Dr. Phil Valentine was there as well. So we got a chance to meet with them. Dr. Stevenson. Dr. Aleila's wife. She was very kind. She said the food was great because they tasted it was home cooked food. And oh my goodness, Dr. Alayla loves my food. He even stayed with us during the International Vegan Fest after we had gotten here. So, yeah, I kind of saved his life because he wouldn't eat too much of anything. And if it was
Yeah.
not anything there, he would eat plantain plain. I haven't
Yeah.
done that one yet. But
Yeah.
but then if you require, I think a good nutritious balanced meal, that would be very, very nutritious because it has the salts like and the sweet in it and other bitters.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yes.
So that would be
Yes.
really good for children.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, we connected with him, and his wife wanted us to do cooking classes. So we actually set up some dates, and we spent 4 days cooking classes, and they're on the YouTube, Spicy Tasty Vegan Cuisine. There are eight
Spicy
cooking
vegan
classes.
on
Spicy
YouTube.
Tasty, Spicy Tasty Vegan Cuisine, YouTube, and the cooking classes. You put that in, and they will come up one at a time.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
and those recipes are primarily from the book. Of course, we have advanced more than that since we've been here in the Gambia. I've had an opportunity to come to the Gambia because of Galactic Clyde, my wonderful dear brother, who actually inspired us. Because when we came to the States, I only remember one lady that I met in Alaska from the Gambia, and I also communicated with her, and she connected us with her family. So that's the connection that we had that I think is really important to live abroad is to know people. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, and then
Yes.
we decided one of the British brothers there in the UK, he said, you guys should get a guest house. And that's what we did. We rented at least a guest house. And at the time before COVID, 2016, 17, 18, things were really mellow. More people would travel if they were interested in coming out and spending 2 weeks or a month eating spicy, tasty, healthy foods with lots of spices and herbs. And it
Mm.
also helped them, they would lose weight, a pound a day. And
A
then I would
pound a
make,
day. Mm-hmm.
yeah, those that weren't really kind of overweight, they would lose it. Now, other people that's not so large, they would probably be more balanced.
Okay. So let me ask you, if somebody decide to become a vegan, what are the first steps in
Oh,
practicing a vegan lifestyle? What are the first things they have to do? What do they have to check? What do they have to do? Any medical tests? What is the first steps in becoming a vegan, a healthy vegan?
well, everybody cannot be a vegan. And it depends on what type of vegan. There are lots of vegans out there. The best vegans that I was around in Berkeley, they had a restaurant called Berkeley Bowl. They had a lot of the really good, healthy, whole food, like lots of seaweed wraps with quinoa in it. Lots of vegetables in it and some cooked. They really made it wholesome. That's what we look for. A lot of people, if you haven't really cooked, well, you got to first learn how to cook like I did, how to cook the, roast, steaks and greens and collard greens, mustard greens, all of these things. We must learn those things as a foundation
The base
from
cooking,
my
yeah.
experience. And
Yes.
once you start doing it like that, and if you're not, you know, if you're cooking, you're not going to be have too much time dealing with addictive things like too much drinking or smoking because you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
cooking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, and also when people are ill and when they're ready to make a change because of the illness, I recommend that they ask their doctor to refer them to a nutritionist, and that way they can get a whole list of things and some of their ways of changing, in the medical institution.
So
Um,
so
I-
you, so you're saying that to become a vegan, one should contact the doctor to recommend them to a nutritionist in order to create a diet for them.
That's one of
Um,
them. That's number two. The first
mhm,
one is the first one, you have to probably like get a wok or get a blender, get some appliances with those recipes that can help too.
mhm.
But I'm saying if someone, is really sick and they come to me for help, I can't really help them because I don't know the nature of their illness. I could, give them some of my concoction where I boil the skins of the pineapples, the papaya, mangoes. I cut up limes, lemons, oranges, grapefruits in a big pot of water with garlic and ginger. I even put turmeric sticks in there, and whatever you have, cinnamon sticks, you put all that in there. Warm jewel, which is the hibiscus, baobab, whatever's in your in the country, you boil all of that for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and you start drinking off of that every day, a cup in the, maybe a small amount starting out in the mornings and at night, and it will start to take all that inflammation out of your cells. Maybe where you have to make several bowel movements, just get everything out. And that's what my food has done for people here in the Gambia. They don't have to come to my house and go to a restaurant like this. That's why I hire younger people so that they can prepare some foods in a way that people would enjoy, but it's healthier than the fast foods outside.
Yeah, yes, cool. So, so if somebody is not ill at all and they say, well, I have information now where I would like to practice a new lifestyle, a vegan lifestyle. What the first thing that person, they're not ill at all. They just have some weight and they realize that the meat is not good because of the hybridization and all of the pesticides we decide to put in the feeds and etc. What is the first thing, what the first step they have to take in order to practice and become a healthy vegan?
Or a healthy person that's going to eat better, because everybody
Yes,
cannot, as I said,
yes,
become a vegan,
yes,
because it
yes.
takes real serious systems, that's going to work for you. And then if you're sharing it with someone, you want to make sure they understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just trying to go back and think. The one thing that one can do is purchase our book. We have three of them. Spicy, I recommend Spicy, Tasty Vegan Cuisine. And the yellow copy, the subtitle is An Informative Health Guide for the Melanated People of Color. I need my books so I can show you my books.
Yes, that'd be nice. Yes.
And so that's that, and all three of them talk about basically the same thing. That one is number one on Amazon as bestseller, and the other one is Spicy Tasty Vegan Cuisine, an informative guide to healthy living. That was more or less for the general public, and that one is number one in the UK, because when we were there, a lot of people they purchased the book that were less melanated, recessive. They purchased those books because we were selling them like that. And people
Okay.
were excited, melanated book, I'll take my melanated book. So, okay, can I show you, can I show
Yes.
you the books? Okay.
Yes.
This one is
Okay.
Spice, yeah, Spicy, Tasty Vegan Cuisine, an informative health guide for the melanated people of color. It has
Yes.
over 400 pages of information on processed food. We even have something on forgiveness. 70 gluten free, no, 70, what do you call it? People, yeah, the testimonies. Yeah, I have
So
over
70
70
testimonies. Yes. Yes.
testimonies. And we have the information on plastic, how that's not good for you. We have it on vegetables, fruits, GMO, organic food. We have soy stories that people have experienced that we also added in the book. We talk about diseases and bad nutrition, prostate, and a lot of men can really get this book for that. This was a good start. And also uterine fibroids for women. We even talk about the microwave, how
Mm.
we have to not kind of divert ourselves from that if we can. Food for thought, cookware, plastics, like I said, and kitchen safeties. When they first start with us, the students, we always talk about the kitchen safeties. That's important. And then we have all the recipes here. The stew, the African stew, because in 1973 and 74, I was cooking with the Nigerians. As we were students and we would study, and I learned how to make really good African stew with cream of wheat made into the fufu
Okay.
every day. That's what I ate, and that also helped me with the hepatitis at that time because I was
Okay.
consistently eating stews. It was fish stews or some beef or chicken or dried fish. Yeah, that really helped me. Yeah, and then eventually, after I moved on from there, I started cooking. That's when I really got into cooking our own food, how we were brought up, without the
Mm.
pork. No pork chop. No, we didn't have pork. Well, yeah, pork chops. None of that. And the ham hocks. My mother used to like those smoked ham hocks in her greens. I removed all of that out and started putting in the garlics and the gingers, celery, bell peppers. And then I was also introduced by the Indians from India, their spices and herbs in around 74.
Oh,
So I really had I was around the Pakistani Indians too. Yeah. So I used to go to the halal stores. I'm sure you're familiar with the halal stores.
I am familiar with them, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then I used to eat occasionally goat meat.
Hmm.
I like that one. But then I decided I wanted to become vegan or whatever you want to call it, reduce the meat, cut
Reduce the
back
meat,
on the
yes.
sugars,
Hmm.
no using processed sugars, using all raw or introduce, and also after my children were older, I was financially able to shop and buy whatever I wanted to eat,
Whatever you wanted, yes. Let me
whatever I
ask
wanted.
you, yes, in America or the worldwide now, they have a lot of um, hybridized food, GMO
Yeah.
food. Um,
Hmm.
as a vegan,
Hmm.
um, does that bother you? Do you think that um, it's a problem for healthy for vegans that want to live a healthy lifestyle?
Hmm.
And and what you think you can do in order to counterbalance from that new breed of food to putting out in the public?
Yeah. Actually, I was exposed to the fast food too. And a lot of people get sick anyway. Some may get sick in their 40s and 50s, which I feel really sorry for them because they got a lot of time. They have a little time or whatever to get better. When generally everyone, I guess if you're eating, you got to find something to stop the pain. Some people go to the doctors and they take pills right before or after they eat something. And I never wanted to be in that situation. I would find something that's in the food that would prevent that from happening. Or a lot of people they don't think like that. It's like a science, and I think I'm thinking I would like to teach. What I'm doing, what I'm talking about today. I think y'all young people need to hear some of these experiences so that they can get that in their mindset instead of all this old other stuff that they're teaching them. Like you said, fast foods. They see it on television. They'll show you something with a whole bunch of pretty colors, and and it looks similar to what we came up with, which was natural. And you eat some of that, and you can die. I remember I was living alone in 1976. They had a tuna fish called tuna twist. I never forget it. They were
To the twist.
advertising it on tuna twist, right? And I was making my tuna fish, the natural way in the water with the onions, garlic, bell pepper, all of that. And so I was thinking, I said, I was ignorant. I said, I'm gonna try. Next time I go to the grocery store, I'm gonna look for some tuna, tuna twist.
Yes.
You know, it's a good thing. I had stopped watching television for years because I couldn't afford it. When I got the television, I heard them say, tuna twist will be removed from all shelves because it had. I remember that. That's when immediately I said, I'm sure glad I got this TV today. I said, because this is serious.
This is seriously
Yes,
twisted.
it was a twister. And this is what they did during the 1970s and 80s to our people. It was in America,
It was
except
cheap.
for
It
those
was
that
cheap,
came from.
cheap and cheerful, but twisted.
Kept you twisted. Yes, because the only people that was most challenged were the ones of us that were natives, because we did grow up eating out of the corner stores. Our parents
Mhm.
cooked, but we can go over and buy some candy or some cookies, good tasting chocolate chip cookies, without the chemicals, because my stomach can tell. I can tell as a child, sensitive. I would. They had the sunflower seeds, and one day they had some frozen orange, juice that was frozen, and it was
Mm.
real orange juice. And even at high C, sometimes my mother could afford to buy the high C juice. That was natural. See, when we were growing up, like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, we still had the I guess I could say the manufacturing system set up where it was like equivalent to us Native Americans. So what they did, they took our knowledge and they, inverted to something,
Oh
not so
yes.
good. They experimented on us, and some of us rejected it, and that's probably, the way of nature. That some of us are not going to meant to. It's a cost to live a life to keep straight and to be an example for others if you can. Um, yeah, it wasn't easy. Um, but the young people today, they're gonna really make it a better place for all of us, and we can work with them as I've been doing, and I want to do more in the states. That's when I want to start training um, our American brothers and sisters, just like I've been training here, and they would get it faster in America because we're more familiar with the food than they are here in the Gambia.
So you have an you have been doing a vegan um a, a vegan exhibition every year. What inspired that idea to do that in the Gambia?
Okay, when we first got here, we had the guest house, and people would come from the UK and spend, some days. They would have their retreats. And one lady, she came. She's from the UK, and she was amazed by the food because I had the chefs every day making all kind of different food, healthy food, stews and squash and different things, cornbread. Yeah, we had it. I would have at least an 8 or 9 course meal. And she said, you should give a festival. And so, we kind of thought about it. But the only thing is, we called her to let her know we were going to give the festival and for her to come, and she couldn't come. So we just carried on. And we were out doing a lot of PR work, talking to officials. And even though they weren't quite where we are, they did send some representatives,
Okay, yeah,
to
yeah.
support, you know. So I've learned, especially as an American, we're very foreign to the land on some levels, more
Mm-hmm.
than I noticed from the Caribbean since I've been
Mm-hmm.
here. I was not aware to that until I come here, and I've learned so much about us individually, who we are, and not
Mm-hmm.
what they told us, you
Yes.
know, and made our thoughts and what we saw was not what it really what it is. So yeah, it's really good. We can move forward once we know exactly who we are and what we stand for and our belief systems. Yeah, that's the kind of time I'm looking at with the food. My son has the tea bar in Alaska. He says the first one there. There isn't one in San Francisco. Well, I said, well, if it's possible, I'll have one there, and we can have our vegan food, and it could be a social place where people can, speak on mics and karaoke's. We want to
Yeah,
bring.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We used to have the this those jukebox. I
Yes.
remember back in the '60s. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
we
remember the
need.
jukebox myself.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Um, Let me um the the you also said that you deal with herbs also. You also deal with herbology also.
Yeah.
Um, why you chose to or what inspired that for you to learn herbology and create other concoctions? Was it after hepatitis B for you to share with people? And what has been the results? What people have told you about your different concoctions, your herbs?
Well, first of all, as I remember those cakes that my great grandmother, they said she was the one that created. They in the jam cake with the blackberry jam, and I didn't know anyone in my neighborhood that could afford that blackberry jam. We were very in this real the pulp, so we had that in our cake along with and it was just like a spice cake, like with nutmeg, cloves, allspice. What else did they have at that time? Of course, the vanilla flavor, almond
Hmm.
flavors. Yeah, and then my mother used to have spices. She would buy them from the store, for the cooking, whatever she was cooking, the meats. And also because we were living near at one time the Nation of Islam. So they had their own spice and herb collection. So they would knock on the door and we'll say, come on in. And we would buy the spices. And every month they would show up. And that's one of my beginnings. And also going to different stores where not many, I could say, Black Americans are not shopping. I'm in there with more the Jews and, some passing for white or whatever, and Asians. So I was able to go into stores where they have taken our way of life and enhanced it from what I could tell. Because
100%.
we are the original, so how could they have gotten it? We somehow were put asleep. I think going in those hospitals, being born there and with the lights and spanking us and you know, all of this
They
now we
put
can
trauma
tell.
and fear in us.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So it's really this is a really good time to learn, as you're aware.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
learn so much, and it
Hmm.
feels so good to be able to have this knowledge and have the information right at your fingertips. Right at your
So
fingertips.
yeah, so can you show the can you show me the book number two
Yeah, the
from
book
your
number two,
three
babe. You
books?
took the book number two. Oh, he put them back here. Okay. So that's book number one. And this is number two. And this one is also, this is the green one. Number one in the UK.
I think I've seen that book in the UK.
Yes, we put them in there before we left and came to the Gambia. We took them to all the bookstores, our folks there. This is Spicy Tasty Vegan, also an informative guide to healthy living. This is for the
Oh,
general public. So this one here, it has pretty much the same thing. Because we had the melanated book, we wanted to make sure we made everybody feel comfortable. But most people like the melanated book, which is really wonderful. And plus we
okay.
have a chapter on it, talking about the melanin dominant as well as recessive.
Recessive, okay.
Yeah.
And okay. And number
Yes.
three?
And this is the kitchen companion. This is actually our first beginning with just the recipes. This is
Okay.
spicy, tasty vegan cuisine. Eat your way to a healthy life. Yes. So this one has, yeah, we have, of course, we have our recipes on the page, the pictures, but this one has just a few things. This is like a kitchen companion, or if you're in the kitchen, you can have your recipes, like your pancakes, and it's in color. This is the plant protein. This is the one that I made it into from different vegetables. And if you want to put beans in it and olives and sunflower seeds, it turns into like a meat. And it's so good. I created this plant protein. And let's see. And I make my own dressings. So we make different types of dressings. And we also have wild rice. This is the mixed salads. And this is the mixed fruits. Every morning we have a form of a cereal with quinoa, steel cut oats, maybe some muesli or granola. We cook that, and we put it in with milk and all the fruits in there and avocados and a salad on the side. That's pretty much how I eat every day, and a couple of waffles.
Couple of
And
waffles. Okay, cool.
yeah,
Yeah, good.
waffles, vegan.
Hmm.
So yeah, all of those these are more or less homemade recipes that we took from our mama's lifestyle, and
Mm.
try to make it vegan. That's what I did. I actually took my mother's. You can't be a vegan like someone else. You have to start
Yes,
from where you came from.
yes,
So I took my mother's cooking and I created. I expanded on it.
yes. You
Found
share it with the world.
yes, yes,
Yes.
and
Yeah. You're saying that they have different types of vegans. I haven't heard
mhm.
that before. What types of vegans? I thought vegan was vegan. I never knew there are different types of vegans.
Fast food vegans. Most restaurants that say they're vegan, they're fast foods.
Mm-hmm.
Why? They can get you in and out of there almost the same as the other way, the conventional. So they have to do
Okay.
different things to compromise. Like for me, in my beans, I mean, in my stews or whatever I'm making, burgers, I'm having not canned beans. I'm gonna take the time and soak the beans, and put them in the pressure cooker and get them soft. And then I can use them in different dishes without having to open up a can. So my burgers will be different from those that use the can. And most of the recipes on YouTube that I follow, just because of ideas for my students, we always make sure there's no cans used in any of the food, and they love it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's the starches. Yeah, the starchitarians. Yes.
Um.
So,
Yes, you're saying sorry.
no, I was just thinking about, yeah, the beans. I think people should make their own beans. Don't use the cans. And what else I do when I cook them, I cook a whole package of them. And
Mm-hmm.
then I take some and I put them in the freezer. And then I use the ones that I'm going to use right there, for the meal that I'm making. So that's always good. So, for instance, even with my dog, she's pretty much vegetarian, but she does eat her meat. I do beef stews, chicken stews for her, fish, with carrots and little potatoes, green
That's for
beans,
Siba.
squash. That's for Sheba. Sheba eats like
Siba.
a human. People come to my house that eat meat, they look at her food quickly. Yeah, yeah, she eats very well.
Okay. Now, if
Yeah.
you have to now, can you share with us, like, if somebody want a quick meal in the morning, apart from the quinoa, avocado, granola, a quick meal they can prepare in 10 minutes to serve. What's a quick
Okay.
meal?
You could do a smoothie, you know. All that I just said, put it all in a smoothie. If you have some leftover cereal or your fruits, of course you could have your dates in there, your greens, and then you put your little chia seeds, flax seeds, whatever superfoods, chlorella, and then have your milk. Hopefully you can make your own milk, coconut water, put it in the blender, blend it up. Same with nuts, and just use that milk. And you got the blender. You have your smoothie, and also you cook food. Like for instance, like today I made a big pot of the cereal. That's gonna last me 4 days. So that means I could take that cereal and do different things with it. That's the
Oh,
it's the key is how I managed to make it through my education and working when having decent food. I always use like Sunday, Saturday and
oh,
Sunday,
prep.
shop and prep it, yes, and cook it, and put it in. You got a good refrigerator, it will last up to 5 days. Vegan food that's real plant based, and getting it from the farmers markets is another good source of getting your fruits and vegetables and olive oil, everything there. And then once you know the farmers, when they want to leave, they will give you everything. And sometimes they have a box where they have food for people that don't can't afford enough, to buy.
Hmm.
So farmers markets are great, especially in America. I witnessed them last year because that's the way we travel, and some health food stores.
Okay. Okay. Um, do will you so you say that you offer classes to people. Is it online classes? Is it virtual? Is it in class? And what I want to ask you again is two questions is do you plant food in the Gambia or anybody plant food for you in the Gambia?
Yeah, my students are Gambians. Is that what you mean?
Yes, do they plant your food for you or you buy it from
Oh
the
yeah,
shop?
we have a garden. We do have a garden, and it's seasonal. Right now, our Gambian greens are changing. I'm looking at them right now. The We have the callaloo here, which they call what they call it marron or greens, and then they have the kering kering. That's about to go out of season. That's more or less for the rainy season, but our soil is pretty good, so they're growing. We have okra, basil. We have beetroots, potatoes, peppers. So we have a few things here. We
Okay.
have a soursop tree. That's for my mama. She made her transition 32 years ago of cancer. So she told me, one day you need to go to Africa, and I'm here, and I got this tree, beautiful tree. Yeah, and my husband keep it water twice a day. Yeah,
He
yeah.
keep it well he keep it well
He,
lubricated.
yeah, he loved this tree. It's too bad we can't fly it to the to the U.S. The soil,
So so when you return to the US, how long before you return to the Gambia?
I give myself maybe 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I need the 2 years and see how we can work out our finances. We're looking at grants, and we would like to work with young people that have the knowledge to assist us with pursuing our dreams,
Yes.
because they are the ones that have the time, the motivation, and if you give and you're paying them for it, give them a stipends, because we pay stipends because we're not employers, we're a school, and we prefer to keep it like that. We don't have to get into any one trying to sue you or anything like that, especially when you're doing the right thing. Hopefully, we won't have that challenge in the U.S. because we certainly have had it here. People get close to
Okay.
you and they take from you.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I guess with that we get wiser and we know how to navigate because um the expectations of people is very silent and it comes
Hmm.
like a thief in the night. So I guess that's things we have to learn. I see you drinking
Yes,
water. I see you have drunk four globs of water.
yes,
Um, do you drink a lot of water? And do you keep yourself hydrated because it's very hot? I'm just curious.
yeah. My kidneys require a lot of water,
Hmm.
and sometimes I get pretty active, and and I may forget. But when I do sit down, I make sure I take time and take several gulps, so that if I go away for a long time, then I know I'll come back. So you have to find a program or a system to make sure you are hydrated. And by the way, this is filter water. We have a filter system here in our house that we connect to the sink with Multi Pure. Is a company in the U.S. They're located or based in Las Vegas.
Okay.
But this water filter is a carbon block filter with
Mm-hmm.
coconut shells, some kind of way they have it. And this has been my best water, even over the alkaline water. And I
Okay.
say that is because it doesn't have, it doesn't have anything in it because my body is already alkaline. So too much of the alkaline water affects my liver, my kidneys. I
Yes,
learned
yes,
that.
yes. I agree with that because I think there was a hype on water alkalinity,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you check the pH of the
Mm-hmm.
rainwater,
Mm-hmm.
it's not 7 or 8. Sometimes it's 5.4 or 4.5, and it's
That's right.
not like what the experts claim it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was on the alkaline drive too because it was the in thing at the time. But when I do water, because I have all of the kits to test the water, and I realized
Yeah,
alkaline water is highly overrated.
it
Even I
is.
bought the water ionizing system, and if I have alkaline water for too many days at 7.5, it would be a lot of pressure on my body. So I
Mm-hmm.
changed from that straight
Yes.
alkaline system because I do not think our body was. If you check a saliva, it's not 7.5.
No. And
It's not
then
seven
another,
to eight.
yes,
Yeah, sorry.
that's right.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I just before I forget, I wanted to say another thing that I've learned that when I first started drinking alkaline water, it was at this health food store, Whole Foods in Oakland. And I was able to drink that water for maybe a year. And then another guy, he had the system. We were buying water from him. Then to learn that he didn't clean the filter for a long time. So we probably was drinking just regular water, okay? But what I've learned is that what I want to say is, okay, the water can help a person that's ill. One of my cousins had cancer, and when she while recovering, someone would bring her alkaline water a lot. For someone who's going through that, because their whole body system is pretty
Acidic.
much challenged,
Yeah.
it would work for that. So after you start to heal, maybe in a year, you really have to come off of it. You don't go back and buy a new machine because it's overrated, like you said. It's a
Yes.
medical device, is what I
Yes.
understand. And
Yes.
Japan
Yes.
was the one that offered that to their people after the war, after they were bombed over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was saying a while ago when I was having alkaline water, it was too much, and
Hmm.
I had to stop it because I realized that
Hmm.
what they were saying was overrated, and it was a crave, it was the in thing for people to have. So
Hmm.
I kind of avoid too much 7.5.
Yes.
When I check the rainwater, I realized it's not that. When I check the river water, it's not 7.5. I did many
Hmm.
tests of different waters and realized, oh,
Hmm.
it's so I kind of slow down on having all that water. So it's good that you have the same experience, unlike me, to tell
Hmm.
the public that you have to be very mindful. It's a medical system in Japan. It's a medical system in South Korea also, because it's in the hospitals.
Right.
Alkaline water is hospitals in South Korea have alkaline water. So I
Oh,
think it's a good thing when you are ill. When you get better, you have to balance yourself and just drink water, but mix and match in between. You know,
yes.
if you
Exactly.
cleansing, detoxifying, you can have it, but after that, you have to go and balance yourself out.
That's right.
Yes. So yes. So I mean, I don't know if you have any other things you want to say to the
Hmm.
family. Um,
Yes.
and if not, maybe we can um wind up, and I guess we'll be catching up again
Yeah.
to on Saturday with a duo. So
Yeah.
anything else you have to share with us again before we close the interview?
Yeah, I have a lot of information that I've written over the years before I got a dog. um, but I happened to run across this in my notes. It says free radical fighters. And those are like black seed oil we should have if we can, astragalus, of course, ginger root, green leafy vegetables, Swiss chard, vitamins A, C, and K, avocados are inflammation fighters. Let's see, selenium, zinc, eat plenty of beetroots, blueberries, get your bromelain from your pineapples, just different things that, we should eat from the farmer's market, and that would definitely guide us in the right direction. I just, I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to talk freely. It's not often that we can do it, so I really appreciate you, brother, for allowing me to have this opportunity, this grateful moment in my life. Thank you.
You're welcome, and I know we will be meeting again on Saturday. You and
Yeah,
your you and your net helper,
my
your
husband.
partner, your
Yes, yeah.
husband.
Mm-hmm.
Will be going in. It will be like freestyle. We can have a conversation. No
Yeah.
pressure. It's not
Okay.
it's not it's not a regimental army. We'll be freely speaking, and we'll have fun.
Yes, yes. I'm enjoying this. I really appreciate it. I feel very fulfilled. I can't think of anything else. Don't want to just let people know that they can purchase the book, Spicy, Tasty Vegan Cuisine. You can pull it up on your Amazon. They're there. As well as sometimes bookstores can order them for you, and also in some of the libraries. And our GoFundMe, yes, we do have the GoFundMe. Most importantly, we are actually leaving the Gambia. Yes, this is our 10th year coming up next year, and we have done as much as we can do. Now we're going to see them put their knowledge into action. If
Hmm.
possible, we can have a health food store here. Since I had to order all the time from the UK or people bring it from the US, these things need to be here. So
Yes.
that's one of the thoughts. Also, with the GoFundMe for traveling back to the States, we have Sheba, our German Shepherd, Belgian. She came to us almost, 5 years now, because we were burglarized in the first house that we had gotten. The Was it the guest house?
Hmm. Hmm.
Had during COVID, there weren't any job opportunities, and so the security people allowed people to come in and steal, laptops, phones, and televisions. It was incredible how they just ripped us off. So we've had Sheba in this new place almost 5 years when she was a puppy, and we can't just leave her. So we got a GoFundMe, and it seemed to be doing really well. We put a lot of information out there. We have some videos, so we can put the link out there. We can send you a link where you can put it out there
Yes.
for
Yeah,
the
yes.
family.
Yes.
And it's we have given a lot, and it's not about bragging, but we know that if you're doing good things and if you ask for help or some form of practical support, I believe we should be capable of helping, right?
100%.
This is what we have to do, because I mean I'm giving all the time. Sometimes I get a little upset. I say I'm giving more than I'm able to do for myself.
Hmm.
But it's probably a humbling, position to be in. So
Yes.
yeah,
So
so I
what's
was
your
saying,
GoFundMe address? What's the GoFundMe?
is there an address to it? Yeah, we'll just send you the link because we're still actually working on it. We
Okay.
just got it. Yeah, we just got it up. Uh, yeah, we'll send you. Yeah, he'll send you the QR code and all of
Okay.
that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Cool. Thanks.
it's
Yes.
only
Cool.
been like 4 or 5 days, and now people are really assisting, and so we're grateful for the dog. and the quarantine, the chipping, microchipping, the what else is there? The vaccinations. Since rabies is high crime here in the Gambia, so she's going to be shot with rabies shots twice here, and as well as once we get into the state. So yeah, it's a deal, but I think it's worth bringing her rather than
Yes,
leaving her.
100%. Yes. If she
Yeah,
protect you, then you protect her now. Time for you to protect
exactly.
her.
That's right.
That's good.
That's
Yes.
right. For sure. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, um, Mama Nasira, thank
Yes.
you very much. I guess any other thing you have to say, we will discuss it again in our next meet.
Yes.
The duo. So, thanks again for attending. Thanks again for having the live, and it was nice speaking to you.
Yes. Yes.
Have a
And
great
I,
day.
and I want to say one thing. I love my Caribbeans brothers and sisters. You guys have it going on. Thank you.
Thanks very much, and have a beautiful day.
Yes. Likewise.
Peace. Thank you.
Peace. You're welcome.